Should be noted from the beginning, at the time of recording this video, the Drive Anywhere package Tesla has started offering is only available if you're in the market for a Model S or X, and yes, you do have to buy this new. You can't buy this package if you're trying to buy a Model 3, Y, or Cybertruck. In my opinion, it's probably an indication that they're not moving as much inventory for the Model S and X as they initially hoped. Lots of EV registration data is proving to that being the case as well, so this is just another kind of interesting demand lever we're seeing Tesla pull, where, at least on the surface, it sounds like a pretty good idea. So if you're buying a Model S or X for only $5,000, you get 3 years of unlimited supercharging at no additional cost. You get 3 years of full self-driving, supervised, and 3 years of premium connectivity. So that's kind of the quick elevator pitch. I think they're hoping that when you're on the configurator, you just go, hey, those sound good. I guess $5,000, that's a good deal. You just add it, pay for it, and boom, you don't think about it. And because it's all software related stuff, this doesn't push you outside of any federal tax credit qualifications. If you were hoping to get an entry-level Model X, this won't affect any of that. But looking into the math a bit, I would say it's probably not worth it to most people out there. So let's get the easy ones out of the way. Premium connectivity is only $100 a year. I mean, they could raise the price on it a little bit over time, but still, 3 years of that is worth $300. Okay, so they're throwing in $300 worth of premium connectivity in a $5,000 software package. Wow, thanks. So that one's kind of a throwaway feature. It sounds good on paper, but in reality, really doesn't save you all that much money to buy in bulk anyway. Secondly is the price of full self-driving. So at least right now, the membership option is $100 a month. That means $1,200 a year or $3,600 after 3 years, which again, even coupled with premium connectivity, means the free supercharging is definitely the most valuable perk, because if you just add the FSD and premium connectivity together, yeah, that's still technically cheaper than paying the $5,000 for the Drive Anywhere package. So where the real question of value comes down to is how much you think you'll spend on supercharging within 3 years of ownership. So I did the math for you. Don't worry, you're not going to have to backwards calculate everything. So since this is only available for the Model S and X, I'm going to assume efficiency of around 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour. Depending on how you drive or which model you get, it could be a bit worse than that, but assuming 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour is your average efficiency, and let's just say you don't charge from home at all, you exclusively supercharge, the average American mileage per month, which would be around 1,200 miles. That ends up being a little over 340 kilowatt hours per month, and then the question comes down to, okay, how much would you be paying for that electricity if you didn't get the Drive Anywhere package? So I use myself as an example. Let's just say the average, because sometimes superchargers can be really expensive, or sometimes if you're in a different part of the country, electricity can be super cheap. But if we estimated that you're saving 35 cents a kilowatt hour, that ends up being $120 a month, which becomes a little over $1,400 a year. And then, yeah, after 3 years, that does start to pull its weight a little bit, with nearly like $4,000 in free electricity with the vehicle. So I guess the question really comes down to, in my opinion, you gotta really love both of these things. You gotta really love the FSD and plan on using it on a daily basis, and I mean including any like long distance trips where you're gonna be away from your car. Like if you're gonna be out of the country for a month, if you buy this package, like that money's already gone. Whereas if you were just paying the $99 a month, if there was a month where you didn't feel like using FSD or you were gonna be away from your car for a while, you could technically save some money by just not subscribing during those months. And sure, I guess you could argue that this locks in the price of FSD, so perhaps if you believe that full self-driving is going to become unsupervised in the not too distant future, and Tesla's going to double the price of FSD in the next couple of months or years, then I suppose this does lock in that price hike down the road. But once again, if you really feel that FSD is going to be solved in the near term future, I would not recommend you buy the $5,000 version, because on the same configurator, they also have an option for you to buy FSD outright for $8,000, and then the Drive Anywhere package, which still includes the premium connectivity and 3 years of free supercharging, for only $2,000 extra, which in my opinion definitely pays for itself, at least if you're close to a supercharger or plan on supercharging a lot in your daily life. Like if you already have solar on your home and you're planning on charging your EV at home for free, or let's say you have super cheap electricity at home, like 10 cents a kilowatt hour, 8 cents a kilowatt hour, and you plan on doing like 80-90% of your driving from home and just doing a supercharger on a road trip once or twice a year, that's when I would say the Drive Anywhere package doesn't really make much sense, because you're only going to save a couple of $100 on charging over the course of a year, maybe $1,000 over the course of 3 years. But maybe if you live in California like I do, or you live in an apartment building where you can't charge the vehicle from home and you're going to be stuck paying for 35 cents a kilowatt hour or 40 or 50 cents a kilowatt hour at your supercharging stops, and they're going to be a lot more frequent, like 1,000 miles worth of supercharging per month, that's when I would ask, okay, do you really want FSD? Are you sure that this is the kind of feature you plan on utilizing all the time? Which is why I would advise people, because it's kind of a scary bundle. I think there's a really good chance that a lot of people that end up spending the $5,000 for the Drive Anywhere package are either not going to really get their money's worth with the supercharging, or they're going to pay for FSD and end up not using it all that much. I can tell you from my personal experience, my cousin, my friends, I can think of like 4 to 5 people just anecdotally in my personal life, like offline, that ended up paying for full self-driving, or at least getting the free full self-driving trial, and after a couple of weeks of trying it out, it was just too inconsistent, too sketchy for them, and they end up not using it at all. Now, maybe you've had really great experiences with FSD and you're convinced that you're going to use it, and that's fine. I have it on my car right now, and I don't think it's worth it personally, but if you do, and you're paying top-tier prices for electricity, then yes, I guess I could see the application for where the Drive Anywhere package would be a decent deal, but I still think for like 90% of people, considering the Model S and X in the first place, these are fun, fast vehicles to drive, and I don't think you're going to want to pay for FSD at least that far in advance. It's basically giving Tesla a long-term down payment on FSD. I would say just on the months where you're going to be road tripping a lot, or you want to try out the latest version of it that maybe allows you to drive it around without your hands on the wheel, or once the unsupervised version comes out a few months down the road, then yeah, you could subscribe to it for $100 a month, or who knows, we've seen Tesla drastically cut prices on FSD before. Who's to say they can't cut the price on FSD again? And then if you bought the Drive Anywhere package, you're stuck with that kind of old-fashioned pricing, thinking you got a deal, where in reality down the road maybe it becomes a $25 a month feature, and then you feel kind of weird paying that much for it. I would say if you got to spare $5,000 in your pocket, maybe just put it in some high dividend mutual funds, max out your SEP IRA, your Roth IRA, that kind of thing. Not investment advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just saying you'll probably get your money's worth, and then just pay for FSD for the 1 or 2 months out of the year that you want to try it out, and pay for your own electricity, because you're fairly not likely to rack up $3,000 to $4,000 worth of electricity costs, even in a Model S and X within 3 years, unless maybe you live in a place like I do where the electricity's super expensive. But if it were me, I would still not pay for it, because I ain't paying $100 a month for FSD. So this ain't worth it to me. But what do you guys think? Feel free to let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and thank you to everybody supporting this channel directly. It seriously helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos. So thanks again. Have an excellent rest of your day.